By definition, the original way to be labeled a snitch, first true meaning was if you along with somebody else both agree to commit a crime and you happen to get caught, but your partner happens to get away and escapes. Now that you're caught, the detective offers for you to simply name your partner in crime in return for being set free. And you happily give them his name, address, and cell number. Therefore, you're a snitch. You would also be labeled a snitch if you are an informant like Eugene Roberts, who was an NYPD assigned secret agent who infiltrated the inner security detail of Malcolm X, becoming a chief in his personal security. He was also photographed giving CPR to Malcolm X's lifeless body, riddled with bullets on the day of his assassination. Today's views of snitching have vastly veered from this original meaning to where if you just simply call the cops for anything, no matter the circumstances, you risk being labeled a snitch. Now let's do a deeper dive into how this has changed. Ever since hip-hop has controlled black culture as the main music influence, it's always caused confusion on being street versus a civilian, and how to balance them both. In most medium to high-income communities in America, if you happen to witness a crime, you will be praised for contacting the police, resulting in getting the perpetrators arrested and convicted, returning back to your neighborhood receiving cheers for all your efforts into fighting against crime. Now, the difference in most low-income neighborhoods, if you're considered a gangster or committed to the street ethics, even if you know the serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer lives next door and you call the cops on him, you're a snitch, bitch. Even if you witness Jeff the Subway commercial guy and Bill Cosby together committing a sex crime and you call the cops, you're a snitch bitch if you call the cops. Even if you're riding in a car with a friend of a friend named Robert, who unknown to you has on him 2 guns, a Glock and an Uzi, 3 illegal drugs, 1 knife, 1 pair of brass knuckles, and 3 stolen credit cards. Now your friend John chooses to be a speed demon, hitting 110 miles per hour on the highway. With bad luck, now y'all happen to get pulled over by the cops, who asked you, in order to avoid going to jail together, facing 20 years, you have to simply tell him who these items belong to. If you just point out the owner of these items, you're a snitch bitch. Because of this influence from the streets and gang culture applying these snitching rules to everyone in the black community, it makes you think, are criminals protected by these snitch rules, and why? It's known that civilian witnesses in these communities face threats and sometimes even murder. Let's assume by the average, most families living in the hoods of America are due to circumstances and not because they want to be gangster or street. So, are they forced to live by these same rules, and will they be looked at as a snitch if they report a crime? Should they just mind their business? If so, who should they seek for protection in the community to prevent them or their loved ones from being the next victim of a crime? Real quick, let's take the rapper Pop Hunter, who's known for his hit song Adderall, Corvette, Corvette, who grew up in Philadelphia with his mother, who did not raise him by the street code. Unfortunately, one day at the age of 13, he witnessed his best friend get murdered right in front of him. While still grieving the loss of his friend, his mother took him down to the police department to file a police report on the crime and see if he could identify the killer to get them off the streets. Despite his talent and catchy songs, almost 5 or 6 years later, this same police report was discovered. The hip-hop culture as a whole labeled him a snitch and blackballed him out of the game. Let's take an interesting YouTuber and activist like Charleston White, who was recently involved in an altercation while visiting Dallas, Texas, representing his youth program. When approached by a group of upset local neighborhood guys who were also brandishing weapons, surrounded him and asked if he checked in with anybody they know to even be allowed to visit their town. Charleston White replied by calling the cops. So, does self-preservation make him a snitch? Being accused of being a snitch or a federal informant is so easily thrown around now that just YouTubers telling true stories of crimes are accused of being a snitch or fed when reporting news. Before we end this video, to make things clear, understanding that most people who are raised in the streets and live by these rules also didn't simply choose the life they live as well. You have to account for the education, family structure, with most having fatherless or motherless households with no legally successful role models, surrounded by poverty and pain. It's a reason why they say you are a product of your environment. It does become a point as you age and educate yourself, accountability has to be accepted as well. My main question is no matter what side of the fence you play on, street life versus civilian life, whose job is it to protect the community from being victims of unwanted crime because of these no snitch rules? Is it everyone's responsibility to police ourselves? Also, do you think these no snitch rules impact the crime and murder rates in these impoverished communities? No matter what side of the field you are, the question is how both sides can work together to better protect and fix the issues in both communities, to better and further the youth of our Black culture. Comment below your thoughts. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe for more.